Okay, today we are going to discuss about one topic which is quite relevant in terms of transcendence in the monastic circles as well as in everybody's life. Like, what's the difference between complexity and profoundness? Complexity and profoundness. Often, this word sometimes people might not, everybody would have heard, but complexity of life, we would always say that. And profoundness is, some people use that. Profoundness is the depth or the seriousness or the depth of his mental reach or his searching. So we are just examining that. What is the difference between complexity and profoundness? Complexity is the entanglement and entanglements, and the kind of affairs in the adjacent dimensions or in a shallow dimensions. We would say it's a shallow dimensions, as a man is considered as a deep man is so deep to be discovered, invented in himself. So as we have seen in the last recording, like man has two distinct entities which press together. One is the body and other is life. So they are not exactly in harmony, because otherwise we would not need food for daily survival if they are in perfect harmony. So they are not in perfect harmony means they are at any point of time they are about to leave and say goodbye to each other. Means we want to do a lot of things to push it to go it together. So we have seen that body is already dead. Body is already dead because of the in biblical terms you can say that because of the fall of Eve and Adam, body is already dead. That's why we are experiencing the weight of the body. And also we have seen that the amputation is possible only because the body is, otherwise the heart, if somebody transplants heart, then the person some portion will go along with that. So that's not happening because the body is already dead, and amputation is possible. So transplantation also is possible because of that. So, but we say that body has life inside. That is because so the pranas and subpranas, which connects the minute points of our body as the extension or tangibility of our life. This is happening by the pranas and subpranas and many other prana elements, which are actually not exactly a property of life, but which acts as a connecting element by screws and nuts with life and body. That's why when the prana depletes, the life says goodbye, essence say goodbye, and life goes somewhere, and body goes somewhere. So prana is that which actually gives the man to go forward in life by stretching these two entities together, in the life and the body together. And every day we have to take food for getting prana, and for the 5 sheaths layers of the body person, we have to get this prana for each of the 5 sheaths or the layers, which already says in that it's a annamaya body, and pranamaya, manomaya, and vijnanamaya and anandamaya. So so that is what we are seeing that actually. So the person can travel towards these two directions, or either he can be at stationary and transcend. Transcendence is a different topic altogether, but I want to mention that transcendence can be in 3 dimensions. One is higher, one is lower, one is horizontal. That means the person may not be transcending too much upward or downward, but he can travel, or he can just go like that in a routine work of the day of life, something like that. Every day he does the same thing again and again, so that he's not getting exactly a transcendence to higher realms or a downgrading to lower realms sometimes. So this potential is there. One is the body level, shallow consciousness of the body, in which people can explore and find what is inside the body. And other is the profoundness of life, in which the person can go by the truth seeking and by learning philosophies and doctrines and principles and theology and logic and higher logic and all. It's all going to the life's direction. And finally it meets somewhere, that is death. After that we do not know what it is, but there actually the person Christ is coming. The union with God and man, Christ is coming, because he is resurrected from the dead, and he is there, in which we can inquire, peep into the eternity. So that is possible. So what I'm trying to say is, actually this person can transcend down or high or horizontal at any point of time. So at any point of time. So this is the kind of daily life, and person is experiencing that every day in a long-term perspective as well as in a short-term perspective. He can do that. So what I'm trying to say is that the complexity is basically a result of the person who is entangling himself in the same realm without transcending too much higher to the higher realms. But he can downgrade, of course. As with the person is downgrading, the complexity increases. So it's just like in the biblical terms, you can say that the word of God makes the wise simple. And also we say that the child is the father of man. That means, and also Jesus said that unless otherwise you turn and be like children, you cannot enter the kingdom of. That means the perfection of information wisdom is simplicity of love. So the person is finding more and more complicated when he goes to the body's direction, or the shallow consciousness, not able to rise to the profoundness of life. So this is, I want to mention that, but I have another recording which is coming after that. It's the second part of that, in which we cover it more and more detailed and analyze it, and the pros and cons of both sides. That means what is the pros and cons of complexity as well as the pros and cons of profoundness. So profoundness the people can acquire by be at peace and detaching themselves from the complexity of the micro and macro level complexities, which gives them a peaceful mind, so that the chaos will not be manifested, but they happen to see what is beyond the turbulent and muddy waters of mind. Then he can see the bottom of the river or the bottom of the pond so clearly, so that he can look what is after the mind, what is after this chaotic mind. But the people are always complicated in themselves by chaoses which is inside the mind, which is a result of the outside world and the entanglements, macro level entanglements of the person outside, and his relationships and the busy schedules of life and money making, a lot of other things which actually. So what is the one remedy what I already have recorded is basically the minimalism and individualism, which actually makes this peaceful mind, in which we can have a profoundness of inquiry into the truth seeking, profoundness of inquiry into truth seeking. Same individualism and minimalism. But as I already mentioned in that recording, that we should not be exactly have to detach from things as a physical, like we have to go to a monastery or in a hut or in a cave or somewhere to detach completely. There's no way that this can come. It's not required actually. If you understand things well, then we can mentally detach from that, and we can find our own peaceful mind somewhere in the house of busy life and busy cities and its cities itself. So there's no need to go to a cave and to hide in there. So, but it takes some time to understand the differences. So exactly that's why Jesus said that you shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free. So only if we know that what is happening underneath, and what is this world is offering, what is God is offering. When I say God, it is going exactly the truth. The truth seeker is ultimately approaching himself, or getting himself more nearer and nearer to God only, because the absolute truth we call God, and God is truth. So truth seeker is actually a God seeker. So we have another recording coming as a second part of this recording, in which we are in detail analyzing this thing. So one way of approaching this profoundness is a monastic way. Monastic way is actually because every day we are shifting two things. Four things actually. One is the time, space, and events that happens as a result of the people, and characters and events. Time, space, characters, and events. These four things are contributing the newness, or the everyday we are getting new things, but in the same realm. We are not transcending, or we are not getting exactly the quantum jumping energy to escape from the current entanglement to the profoundness of higher orbits, to search for the tangibility of more and more sensitive life underneath. So missing a lot in these entanglements and busy schedules and busyness. So, but if we know all these things in a more and more profound way, then we can actually balance all these things. That's why the people who are very busy can stay calm at times, because they know more about the two states actually. So, what I'm trying to say is, monasteries have these four things. They are trying to make it minimum. What are they? It is a time, space, characters, and events. Time means they have a fixed schedule in which they do things like, in Syriac, Jacobite Syriac Orthodoxy, we have 7 times prayer monasteries. Like that, Kurishamala, Ashwin, Vagaman, also they have a certain timetable is there. So if that means the time they are making it not that, changing. Every day they have same schedules of prayer and life. And then they have the space. Space means they are not leaving the monastery as it is, and they are doing the prayers and all. But in everyday life, we know that we have to go outside, and we have to have some kind of, survival processes, survival relationship, maintaining relationship. Everything requires the change of space. So we may go there, but actually we can make this possible by prayer. Actually, prayer and some kind of reading. If the person is not believing in God, or somebody is there, then they can do some kind of metaphysical books or the philosophical books they can read at the same time in the same space. So that means they are making it almost same, not changing too much. Then the characters means they are in the same thing. They can include that. If you want to meet new person, that's okay. But as a monastic level, is absolute level of inquiry, they can say that they do not entertain too much visitors into them. They, of course, they entertain, but the people, not always all those monks are being exposed to the new visitors. They're staying at the chamber, and characters also they're trying to minimize. Characters means the people mainly, and also the catalyst of the new change, like a song or new movie and something like that. What I'm saying is absolute level, but it may not be possible for our daily life as a layman. But we can make it possible somehow, arranging things in a very, very coordinated way to the absolute level, or just trying to. And if we understand that, then we can make it possible somehow. Then the events like we have every day, we have a lot of events. For example, we are being exposed to, but in a monastic level, they have same event repeating. That means the prayers and all they're repeating, and I'm selling the absolute level when I refer to the monasteries and all. But that may not be possible in a normal layman's life, in the outside world, busy schedules and all. So that means if we understand that, we can make it somehow possible that we can get some advantage, if not fully as in case of monasteries and all. We can get some kind of fee, some kind of exposure, experiences, or the kind of benefits from this, actually making these four things minimum. What are they? Time, space, characters, and events. So this is an important thing actually. So in that way we can we get then a profoundness. That means the same dimension we are getting a peaceful mind, and that peaceful mind is basically making it mind clear. And the profoundness that gives us a kind of jumping energy to jump to the higher orbits of our existential dimensions, to the life's direction, not to the body direction, but to the life direction. But body direction is always calling us for new experiences and new food, a new movie, and all those experiences are body level. But if we want to transcend to the life's level, then we need some energy which is very peaceful, very calmful energy, which is making us jumping to the higher orbits of our life, towards our life, and the quantum energy which makes us possible to jump to the higher orbits of our life, towards the life. And finally we know that it ends up somewhere it hits in the wall of death. After that we do not know. Then we have to depend upon the one who overcome death, that's Christ our Lord. And then the whole scenario is basically changing to a dependency on somebody who can make us possible to cross this river of death. So I don't want to mention it at least because I'm just making it mentioning in the philosophical level only. So I don't want to make it more and more in another way. Just want to confine or restrict this in the philosophical level. So I think that's it. It's a short recording, and I have another recording in mind. I'm just trying to prepare notes for that, and I will make it available as a second part of this recording. Thank you very much.